Alright guys, welcome back to First Attack. I'm James Chen, and this is the first installment of the askjchensor episode of 2014. Again, I'd like to answer any question that you guys have for me, specifically, beginner questions too. I've talked about how it can be any questions. One of the hardest things about the fighting game community is there's not a lot of resources for beginners out there, and a lot of times people are scared to ask really simple questions, like I have trouble with the joystick, I don't know how to do a fireball motion, right? Like, you try to ask that, to a person who's really good, and they'd be like, you scrub, and leave you alone, or whatever like that. But, you can ask me any questions, and if you can even tell me that you don't want your name mentioned in the email, just let me know, and I won't mention your name on stream or anything like that. So, if you have some super beginner questions, again, UltraChenTV at gmail.com. And I am totally down to answer any question you give me. So I've got a few more questions I wanted to go through, maybe like 2 or 3 more questions, and then we'll be moving on to level 3 focus with David. This guy is asking that he's getting into Street Fighter 4 and he really loves it so far. He would like to know what my thoughts are on the order of learning or practicing. This is a really good question. I have been in training mode quite a bit, practicing movement and combos and things like that. But obviously that is much different than actually applying that knowledge in a real match. At this point with Super Street Fighter 4, it has been out quite a while, so people left playing it are quite competitive and knowledgeable. Is it best to just throw myself in the deep end and jump online and play people who will completely shut me down? Or should I stick in training mode longer? Or would playing against the CPU or maybe other ideas be more productive? I keep saying this, but I love this question too. What is the proper order of learning and practicing? And for fighting games, honestly, it's a really tight marriage between the two. In fact, one of the things that's really good is recording your own matches. Even if it's just iPhone, just like record it, ask a friend, ask a relative, ask a sibling, or balance your phone on a box and record your matches. So what you can do then is start learning, jump into the fire, and just start getting blown up. And when you rewatch your videos, what's interesting is a lot of times, sometimes when you watch your own videos again, you'll kind of remember what your mindset was in certain situations. If you are one of those kind of people and kind of remember those things, just remember kind of how you were feeling in those situations. And and when you watch it, because you're not in the heat of the moment, it's very easy to recognize, wow, I just got hit by 19 sweeps. What the heck happened, right? So if that's the case, you got hit by 19 sweeps, then what you might want to do is go to training mode, record the computer doing a sweep, and then just learn to stand outside of the range of the sweep. Or go to training mode and find a button that will beat the sweep. So what you're doing is you're playing, you're learning and practicing. So he's learning by actually going into the matches. And then, once you build up enough questions, you can go quickly to training mode and start practicing. Then you start building up certain things. You go back to learning and trying to apply that stuff. And you start finding out what works, what doesn't work. Most likely, most of the stuff won't work because that's the way how fighting games work. Because, your chances of having things not work are drastically increased because you're fighting a human opponent whose whole goal is to make everything you do not work. Right? So then you learn some more, you go back to practice, you go learn some more, you go play the game, and then all of a sudden you notice that the opponent, every time he whiffs an uppercut, you sweep him. And you're like, man, I've baited out so many uppercuts and all I've done is sweep him. I'm not getting the damage that I should get. So you go back into training mode, you see if you can learn a better combo off of like low forward at the same ranges, or just try to find something that damages a lot better than just sweeping them or just throwing them. That's another one. You'll see people miss stuff and then your reaction is just to throw them and you get nothing out of it. So honestly, there is no proper order between learning and practicing. The two processes are very married with each other. you got to keep jumping back and forth between them. And I'm a hypocrite. I'm telling you guys to record your videos and watch them back. That's what people have told me, and I never do it because I hate watching myself play a lot of the times. I don't know. It's just a self-conscious thing. I should do it more often. So don't be like me for more than one reasons. But don't be like me, and definitely try to record your matches and analyze them yourself. See if you can figure out what's going wrong and such. So and then go to the lab and then come back and play again and just keep going back and forth. I mean, we're lucky these days because before, a lot of the players in the arcades didn't have this ability to go into the lab and test things. Like for example, let's say you're using a character and Honda headbutts you all the time, does the fierce headbutt, and you let him get away with it. And you wondered yourself, can I punish this with anything? Dude, we didn't have the ability to do that. We just had to go play that Honda player, block a headbutt, and try something, and if it didn't work, you had to wait till he headbutt again. Now we have training mode and we can just practice this all day. I can record the computer to headbutt. Make sure you hold down back after you record the headbutt so that he blocks afterwards. And you can test to see what can punish it. So again, learn, practice, learn, practice, learn, practice. Back and forth, back and forth. So, okay. Good question, good question. This is an interesting question. Nelson W asks, he has some questions regarding counter hits. He noticed that, that myself, David, a bunch of commentators, whenever counter hits occur, we notice it like almost immediately. He's just wondering, how do we notice the counter hit so fast? And if we're actually just paying attention to the counter hit words that appear on the screen. Most of the time, it's just because we can kind of see the opponent throwing out an attack and getting interrupted. Once you've played the game enough, you kind of notice that. As commentators, we can totally cheat. I mean, we can just like stare off to the side and be like, "Yep, that was a counter hit," and say that. But it does come into play, like Cammy's counter hit low fierce into Ultra 1. In that case, yeah, I'm absolutely looking for those words to appear. And the nice thing about it is that nothing will show up in that space unless it actually counter hits. So you just wait for something to show up there, and if something shows up there, then you know to Ultra. But for the most part, we can kind of cheat a little bit as commentators because we don't have to focus our brains so much on the match, and we can just kind of observe. So commentators can do this a little bit faster than other players, than the players themselves. He continues to ask. He goes on asking, when he's playing, he focuses on the characters. He glances at the life bar and meters once in a while. When he does not need, he glances at them when he doesn't need full attention to the characters. He almost never pays attention to the words on the side of the screen because most of them are unimportant. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not that important. A lot of the times when people go for frame traps and get counter hit combos, they're probably just going to do the combo anyway. Other times there's links and they can react to it, and yeah, and in all those situations they are looking for the counter hit words to appear. Training mode has a really nice thing that lets you set counter hits to random, and that helps a lot. So I did that with Cammy. I sent the counter hit to random, and I just tried to do low fierce into Ultra 1 all day. Fortunately, there's a huge amount of time between the low fierce and the ultra that you can react to, but in other cases I would test like counter hit close strong so I could do better combos and such like that. It's a very useful thing to have. Is it completely necessary? Yeah, probably at the highest levels. But again, like I said in the first episode of First Attack this year, when you guys are all trying to learn basketball, you're not going to be doing, crossover dribbles and behind the back dribbles and going for all these crazy like spin moves and stuff like that. You're going to learn the fundamentals first, so again, yeah, it's going to be useful at the highest levels. Don't focus on it if you don't feel like you're there. If you feel like you're still just trying to learn the game as much as possible, don't pay attention to that. Just play your game, and like I said, get to a point where a lot of areas of your game you could focus less brain power on. And if it's your choice to start focusing a lot of brain power on the counter hit noticing until the point where you can focus less brain power on that, then you can move on to something else. It's just your own priority ordering on what you want to get better at next. So there you go. Okay. Another question here from Sean R. He says that he's been playing since SF4, since Super came out. He's been really trying to learn the ins and outs for 2 years. He's been getting better, but not enough. He still loses most of his ranked matches, and it gets frustrating because he uses Honda, because Honda isn't as execution heavy. But he has trouble against fireballs, or they just rush him down and it overwhelms him. And he doesn't want to stop playing because he loves the game. But there's so much, and he has so much history and everything like that. But he just wants any suggestions on that would help him. I would go back and watch the first episode from this year, the Losing Sucks episode, and then also just a lot of the stuff that I've already said today. You know, focus on certain things. Focus on small victories. Trying to learn how to get past fireballs is very tough. That's just Honda's weakness. So if you find yourself losing a lot to fireball characters, you can't beat yourself up over it because that's just his natural weakness. But then that means that's the one area of your game that you want to focus on most. So the key then is to learn all of your options of getting around fireballs, which are butt slam, at certain at fast fireballs. Sometimes you can jab headbutt through some of them. Learning the ranges at which you can Ultra 1 fireballs on reaction from a full screen. You've seen Mike Ross do that a couple of times. Neutral jump fierce, where you can guide yourself. You know, there's a lot of different ways. Focus dash. Just block. Walk up and block, and then see what you can do afterwards. Figure out all the options you have, and then when you play online as Honda, keep testing them out. If you fight against a Ryu or a Ken and they just throw fireballs at you, pick 2 of them, see how they work with each other, like focus on neutral jump fierce and only butt slam going through. You'll figure out how weak one of them is, but then how when the opponent is expecting one, it's hard for them to react to the other option. And so you can start going to that, and then once you see the opponent starts trying to react to that option, you can change the option to another option, and all of a sudden you'll catch him by surprise there. So learn all the options, experiment with them, see how they relate to each other, because they all definitely relate to each other. Focus dashing through a fireball is weak to Hadouken, right? Because you focus dash through, he throws another Hadouken, you gotta block it probably, right? But the thing about it, if he's going to go Hadouken, then neutral jump fierce works because he's not trying to chase the fireball and sweep you. So if you start doing neutral jump fierce and getting over fireballs, and then he starts trying to chase, then all of a sudden focus dash forward works because he's not throwing that second Hadouken right away. And so you start figuring out how all the different ways around and ways to get past fireballs relate to each other. And how then you start understanding the mind game. So just make sure you research that, figure out all the different ways, and you can even come up with your own crazy ways to get through fireballs. There's no wrong answer. I mean, like for example, do a fierce hand slap, run into the fireball. At least you're a little closer, right? Maybe, I don't know, but it's something you can test. I mean, there's no wrong answers. Try everything, get a pool of those kind of things, and then just go. In terms of getting rushed down a lot, just learn Honda's defensive options, autocorrect, EX headbutts on wake up, or just learn to play some really solid defense, learn EX butt slam stuff, watch a lot of Mike Ross videos, watch a lot of Hudaman videos, see what they do in situations that would get you flustered, put those in your repertoire and experiment with them and see how they react. So see how they help. See how they solve different situations. That's what's so beautiful about Street Fighter. There's multiple ways around every situation. There's never necessarily a right answer of which one to do because they're all useful in different ways at different times. And yeah, that's the beauty of Street Fighter right there. And last question I'm going to do, actually this is kind of more of an execution corner question. Markham C asks, he's having trouble with Ryu. The basic combo is crouch jab into uppercut. And he's having trouble getting the uppercut out like 75% of the time. So for Ryu, most of the time, crouch jab, uppercut, you're not actually canceling the second jab into an uppercut. You're actually linking it. So just do low jab, and then just mash out an uppercut. And usually that will combo, especially in this game because it's so mash friendly. The second way you can do it is low jab, link low jab, and then you can cancel into an uppercut. That's probably the 25% that you're getting because you're looking specifically at canceling it into an uppercut. Honestly, the best way to do it at point blank range is crouch jab, and then link an uppercut. That's the easiest way to get that combo to connect. But if you want to practice either method, feel free. But understand that there is two different techniques, and the crouch jab, link uppercut. So you're not canceling the second jab. You're just letting the second jab finish and going straight into an uppercut is the easier method. And is probably the it's the easier method and the more effective method in my opinion. So definitely keep that in mind. And if you're still having trouble with it, send me the email again, but put it as Execution Corner in the subject line, and I'll make sure I'll save it for a future Execution Corner episode. Alright, there you go. So those are all my Ask jchensor questions for today. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask me, actually I'm just going to run to the inbox and see if there's any. Holy crap, there's a lot of new questions all of a sudden. Okay, I'll go ahead and save those for the next time. I apologize, guys. I'm out of time and I want to give David his chance to go here. So I'll see if I can do another Ask jchensor episode very soon to answer these questions. I mean, just so you guys know, I got like almost 15 questions today just now, so crazy. Okay, I'll try to answer them soon. I mean, again, let me just ask the chat, like, do you guys enjoy these Ask jchensor episodes? I mean, I'm always afraid of doing too many of them because, like, I feel like I'm skimping on, like, the lessons and stuff like that. But if you guys enjoy these episodes, I'll do them more often, and I'll answer more questions like this more often. So just let me know, guys. You know, you can tweet me at jchensor. Let me know if you like the Ask jchensor stuff. But yeah, I'll try to do one very soon. Okay, guys? Thanks for tuning in, and stick around for some level 3 focus coming right up.